Hey y'all,
Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of
Smith and Waker,
where we talk about everything women
motorcycles,
and fun.
Definitely fun. So what fun things are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about financing.
That doesn't sound fun.
It's so much financial fun. So to kind of kick us off here, so I did a little investigating, because I like to investigate, and found out, and we can post the link to this article if you're interested, but about 37% of the women control the finances in a household. So it doesn't seem like a ton, but it's a third, right? The article that I read said they wished it was more, but this isn't about who does that, but more to draw attention to the fact that women are making decisions when it comes to household finances. One of the things that they did was they did a bit of a quiz between men and women. They did a financial literacy quiz, and I thought it was financially fascinating. Wrong word's going to come out one of these times.
Financially definitely. Take a drink.
Financially fascinating that in this literacy score, that women actually fell behind men when it came to literacy of finances. Or knowledge about finances, 38% to 47%.
I would say that's probably accurate. I think that I know a little bit more than others do, just because my husband worked in finance for a little bit. So,
and this covered all things like retirement and IRAs and life insurance and investment banking. It kind of covered a whole bunch, the whole gamut of financial stuff. But I would agree. I think it's probably higher than that.
I do too.
I think that depending on who you ask determines what your answer is.
But today we're going to talk about financing a vehicle or a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And with us we have Mr. Luke Johnson. He is he's a sales manager here at St. Paul Harley-Davidson. And so Luke, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start riding? What do you ride?
Yeah.
Or do you even ride a motorcycle?
I do.
Are you lame and don't
No.
ride? I'm just kidding. You're not lame if you don't ride.
Yes, sure.
No, you're not.
I do. Happy to be here. My riding journey started when I was pretty young. I was 3 years old when my dad got me my first little 50cc dirt bike. So I was 3 years old. It was Christmas, and I wanted like WWE action figures, and he got me a dirt bike instead, and kind of imposed riding upon me. And I hated it at first because 3 years old, I just learned how to walk and stuff, and here I am learning how to ride a bike, and I had training wheels, and it made my mom a nervous wreck. But eventually the training wheels came off, and I was riding my own motorcycle, at 3-4 years old, and I just kind of loved it ever since. And I do currently ride. I've had 3 Harleys. I've actually had 4, but currently I just picked up a new 2021 Road Glide Special this year.
It's beautiful too.
Ooh,
I had it's black and red.
Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
So yeah.
High five on the red.
So yeah, I got a couple hundred miles on it, and I swore to myself that I was going to keep my 15 and pay it off, and just ride that. And that was my forever bike. And then it was kind of love at first sight when we rolled it out onto the showroom floor earlier this year. But yeah, that's a little bit about my background. And I did a lot of work with our riding academy students here last year. I was our liaison, so I really enjoy talking to people that are looking to get into the sport and just helping people, because I think more than 2% of the population should ride motorcycles. It's
right.
Something that I think a lot of people miss out on. So.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
So you have some sales manager experience. Tell us how long you've been kind of dabbling in the sales manager arena.
So I've
or financing arena, I guess, is what we're talking about.
It's been a couple years. I went through a finance manager class/training through Harley-Davidson a couple winters ago. So it would have been the fall winter of 2019 that I went and attended. They have a ACT full throttle business manager class is what they call it, and I was fortunate enough for the company to send me there and invest in me to go learn all things financing and everything. And I'm one of the sales managers now, but they kind of go hand in hand, having an understanding of financing and all the you know, entitlements and products and everything that's available to everyone when they come in. And it's important because I would say that probably we typically have a 90 to 95% financing penetration at the end of each month, where 90 to 95% of people that buy bikes here do end up financing. So it's, you know, important to understand all the ins and outs and everything with finance. So.
And I won't hold you to the number, but of that 95% that finance, first I'd like to know that 5% that don't finance, because who has that kind of money laying around?
Retirees, veterans.
But of that 95%, you know, based on what you heard us talk about just when we kicked off the show here, what is your guess on how many of those financiers are women? Or how do women come into play, maybe? Let's talk about that.
So I would say I'll kind of use the more, well, thinking about it, it's actually, we've had a couple women this month came in and pay cash for a brand new bike. So I wouldn't say that.
Nice.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's, you know, just as many. The proportion's probably really similar to the percentage of men that finance or pay cash and women that finance or pay cash. So it's a, you know,
So of the 95% that do finance, you had mentioned when we were getting ready to kick off the show here, that women oftentimes are the decision makers, or the guys come back and say, gotta check with my wife before I do that, or my girlfriend, or whatever. How often does that happen?
Oh, it happens a lot. And it's, I mean, they're big decisions where,
girl power.
We're not, you know, we never, you know, pressure anyone by any means. We all totally understand that it's a big decision to buy a bike, and you know, that's a part of having a good relationship, I feel like, is just, you know, running that stuff by your significant other. But it happens a lot where, you know, the man is gonna be the person that actually is using the motorcycle and riding, but just we hear it a lot where I need to run it by my wife and just make sure it kind of fits into our monthly financing and everything, because she handles all of that. And we're always, that's no big deal to us. We always, if she's not present, you know, that the ultimate kind of decision maker is not here, and I mean, I can speak for the way we do things here. We want that person to be here so they can celebrate and be a part of, like, the you know, the bell ring, and we always encourage people to bring whoever is not present, like when the initial conversation about you buying a bike happens, and get them in here and make them a part of it. You know, we don't want to, you know, pressure you into doing something without asking, you know, or without making you know, having a mutual agreement. You know,
inclusivity.
You don't want them returning it. I can tell you that. You had a little light bulb go off on your head. What was that?
He answered the question. About women and involvement. So
where do we start?
Let's get into the meat of this. So a person comes in and they're so excited, and they buy a bike, and they get in the finance office, and they're just ready to get out and ride. But what we fail to realize is there's a lot of ways that we can protect that investment, and that we probably need to think about protecting that investment, because service is expensive, and tires are expensive, and if something happens and we need to light bulb, she had a light bulb too, lots of light bulbs going off today. If something unfortunate happens, if my bike gets stolen and my loan to value is not where my insurance is, so let's talk about some of those extra protection things that a lot of us don't even understand, which is the biggest problem. That's why we're doing this, because a lot of people don't understand the difference between a warranty and a service plan, and there is a difference. So let's just start off there.
Even what people call them, right? I mean, we just had this conversation not too long ago where we talked about service plans, and people called them extended warranties. And then you're like, well, no, it's not really an extended warranty. It's really an extended service plan. So, and everybody calls it a little something different.
So what is the difference between a warranty and an extended service plan?
So I'll speak for Harley-Davidson. I know that there are multiple different, you know, there's all kinds of brands out there, and I definitely don't discriminate against other brands or anything, but so Harley, kind of my area of expertise, you get a 2-year factory warranty with any brand new motorcycle that you buy, and the extended service plan is called a warranty is something that you get free from the factory. So that's 2 years. It's no additional charge or anything when you purchase a new motorcycle. And then you have at the day you purchase your bike, you actually have the option. You can extend your factory warranty out 7 years. So your 2 years plus 5, you have the opportunity to extend that. And that's kind of, you can go 3 through 7 years, or 1 through 7 really, but people typically don't do anything less than 36 months. But that's just kind of something that you ask yourself, how long do I kind of picture myself having this bike, and what are kind of how much am I going to ride, what are my needs. But I'm kind of getting off track. But your warranty is something you get free from the factory. Harley's verbiage, there's a Harley-Davidson extended service plan that you can get where you can extend that factory warranty, as well as get some additional coverages within your 2-year factory warranty, like tire and wheel coverage, which is relevant for us here in Minnesota because we have 2 seasons. We've got summer and we've got winter and road construction. So yeah, I mean, we all know how gnarly the potholes get around here, and the cool thing with having tire and wheel coverage is if you do catch a pothole and you damage your rim, the tire and wheel coverage will actually replace that for your $50 deductible. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd rather pay $50 than $1,000 for a new rim.
Right,
for sure.
And that's one of the, we'll get people in here that buy a new bike and they're like, well, why would I do this right now? I have a 2-year, I've got a 2-year warranty with my bike right now, and there's some additional coverages like the tire and wheel. Harley also has like free roadside assistance. They have like trip reimbursement, where if you're ever out in the middle of nowhere riding and you have some issues with your bike, they'll put you up in a hotel and reimburse you for up to a few days of like unexpected
interruption.
So that you can have your bike fixed or whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. So that's just all kind of additional stuff you get that you wouldn't get with your 2-year factory warranty with the new bike.
Yeah.
Well, and that leads into another question. There's a lot of debate on social media and other areas where we talk about the differences between a factory warranty and an extended service plan and what they will carry. What they will cover. So, are there specific limitations on a warranty versus an extended service plan? As to like if you wanted to do mods on your bike or things like that, what are the recommended or required? Do you understand where I'm going with this question? Okay.
So that gets brought up a lot. Really, again, this is Harley. I'm speaking just solely for Harley-Davidson, but people are always asking about, what can I do? I don't want to void my warranty, and it just there is kind of some gray area, but just to make it really easy, if it really has a lot to do with when you start getting in and doing like motor upgrades to your bike. You just need to make sure that you're using Screaming Eagle parts, which Screaming Eagle is for those of you that don't know, Screaming Eagle Performance is Harley-Davidson's division of like performance division. So you hear like, I've got Screaming Eagle parts, that's Harley-Davidson makes those, that's their performance division of Harley. But as long as you use a Screaming Eagle tuner to tune your motorcycle after you put maybe like a different air cleaner or different pipes or whatever on it, then you will still fall within your, you won't void your warranty as long as you're using Harley-Davidson specific performance parts.
So can I do that, or would I have to have a Harley certified mechanic do that?
That is kind of one of those gray areas where we definitely recommend having the work done at a dealership. But
note, I would not even try to attempt that. I like to ride my motorcycle, not work on it, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that gets brought up a lot. It's just better to, and I get it, you have labor rates at dealerships that, the kind of the mom and pop mechanic shops, maybe you could get the same work done for lesser, but just to kind of cover your own tail, I always recommend, because we can do a full audit trail of where all the parts and everything were installed, because our service riders, when they file a warranty claim, if anything were to ever gone wrong, they ask for proof of where all your work had been done, because obviously their job is to try to get out of paying it, it's just say it how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
All right. Good information.
And then or did you want me to talk about the service plan?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got your extended warranties, and then you have your service plans, or your prepaid maintenance, we call it, in our specific dealership, and most dealerships, most brands offer something similar to this, but we have, it's called our VIP program, and it's our VIP maintenance program, and I could talk for a really long time about it.
He's very passionate about it.
But essentially what it does is it covers the first 3 years, or the first 30,000 miles, whichever one comes first, of maintenance. So essentially, if you have a VIP, if you get VIP when you buy a bike here, you don't have to buy it. You can purchase it, and if you buy a pre-owned bike, it doesn't just have to be on a brand new motorcycle. So it covers your first 3 years of services. You know, Harley-Davidson has their recommended, they call them their K services, where if you buy a new bike, your first service is at 1K, and then after that it's essentially every 5,000. So you have 1,000, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way up, you know, forever and ever. But you know, we hear it a lot where people are like, well, what's the benefit of me doing that? And then we always like to talk about how it really streamlines what your monthly expense for your motorcycle is going to cost you. So let's just use round numbers, and let's say your motorcycle payment's $400 a month. Okay, cool. And you don't have, let's say you don't have VIP. So after you hit your 1K, you're going to come in and you're going to do your 1K service, which, you know, is, I don't know the price of the service off the top of my head, but let's say it's like $300-400. So you have your bike payment, which is $400, and then you have your service, which is, let's say it's $300. So now all of a sudden your bike just costs you $700 that month.
Yeah.
Whereas with the VIP program, you know, you can really streamline what your expectation of what your motorcycle is going to be that month. So, you know, for an extra, whatever it is, for an extra, you know, $20 to $40 a month, you know, over the course of your note, you know, your first 3 years or 30,000 miles is covered essentially.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, and you get all kinds of other stuff too. You get like free tire installation, free details, coupons for other departments.
And you don't have to finance that. You can buy that outright.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask that. I was just going to ask
Yeah,
that.
you can,
like if I have a bike now, we'll use Harley because we're talking about Harley. But I think some of these concepts, I'm going to guess, probably apply in other brands as well.
It's just going to be
not
called
the
something
same.
different.
Yeah.
Few different details.
But I think the point that we're trying to make here is ask. Go in and ask
That's
about
for
it,
sure.
right? Make sure that you know what your options are and what's offered. But that was my question. Like, I've been riding, it's 5 years, and now I'm like, gosh, you know what? Could I just go get could I sign up for VIP now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I come in at any time
so
and do it?
You can come in and you can pay for it, or we actually have options of a 12-month financing on it. I believe it's 0% APR too, so you could actually pay for it over the course of 12 months. So that's
awesome.
we try to make it as easy as possible. If you want
That's
something,
very cool.
we want you to be able to have it, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of to piggyback off of that, when you talk about your extended service plans and your VIP maintenance, and because those are two different things, you know, like the extended warranty we were talking about earlier.
Maybe I don't have VIP. Maybe
So
I have
they-
Extended service plan.
Yeah, so they really go hand in hand, and what I talk to our customers on a daily basis about is how much of an overall ownership experience, how much better it is when you have those products, you know, on your motorcycle, because
Peace of mind.
exactly, it's a peace of mind, you know, that this awesome motorcycle, whether it's a Harley or whatever, there's no possible way for this thing to cost more than this amount each month if you have these products that are available to you. Because the last thing we would want is for you to maybe we would never want you to not enjoy your motorcycle as nearly as much because you you didn't know what to expect in terms of what the monthly expense was going to be to have this. So we would never.
I didn't realize it cost this much to
exactly.
buy a bike.
Nothing
I hate it.
like nothing.
Yeah.
I nothing makes me more sad than when someone is like, man, I really wish I could keep my bike, but I just for financial reasons I have to get rid of it.
I can't afford the maintenance on it, or I can't afford the upkeep on it.
Or whatever
sometimes
it
paying
is.
the bill is not the big deal. It's everything
Yeah.
else, and that's exactly what you're talking about there.
So that's just the overall ownership experience, and again, Harley bias, but you know, the expectation for people when you buy a Harley-Davidson, and you know, just the overall, you know, the premium brand that it is, we should be able to offer a premium ownership experience, and those products really helps us accomplish that with people. So
and that's not specific to a dealership, right? Like if I have a VIP program, signed up for VIP with you, and I'm out on the road someplace, that covers me out on the road too. I just want to make sure that.
So the VIP program is actually specific to our family of dealerships here.
Okay.
So but the extended service plan, which is like your extended warranty, that is good at any Harley-Davidson dealership across the country. So it'd be the same. They'll do the warranty work. They'll handle whatever they need to, and that's just a $50 deductible to get that fixed.
Okay.
But the maintenance. So let's say you're on a road trip. That does need to be performed at one of our Twin Cities area dealerships.
Or even Route 66 in Tulsa or Wichita.
I bet.
Those
Yeah.
fall on those?
I bet we would probably be able to work something out there. But
cool. For those of us
yeah.
that like to take road trips from Minnesota to Tulsa.
Yep.
I'm going to step us back a little bit to the beginning of the whole experience of buying something. What kind of options do people have when they walk in? And I've heard it, I've done it. You walk in, you fall in love with the bike. Now how the heck am I going to finance it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have cash. We're likely not one of the 5%.
And it's a Saturday, so my bank is closed.
Right. Yep. Exactly. What are my options at that point? And how you know, are there programs around people who don't have great credit and how you handle that?
Yeah. So I would say, I know we definitely use outside lenders here, but of the 90 to 95% of our finance deals, I would say really close to all of them are actually used with Harley-Davidson. Well, it's called Eagle Mark Savings Bank, but that is Harley-Davidson's own lending institution, and it's really cool because they're actually, I believe Harley's the only major power sports company that has their own lending institution. So it's really nice. Cool from my perspective, from my position on a day-to-day basis, where I can call, let's say that we need to we're really about to go down the rabbit hole here, but
we do it all the time. Don't feel bad.
Come with
but
us.
I can actually, in my position as a sales manager, my job is to do whatever, you know, with, you know, kind of, you come here, you're trying to buy a bike. Hey, I need to be here, and you know, can you make it happen? Whether that's, let's say the bank is requiring you to put 10% down, I actually can, and let's say that you're like, well, I want.
I don't really have 10%.
Exactly, I don't have 10%, or maybe I've got this as like 5%, or I need a 0% or down, or whatever. Yeah. Even though initially they're saying that, you know, based on your credit and everything, they're requiring 10%, I can actually call and talk to an underwriter in person and just say, hey, this is Monica, this is her situation. She doesn't quite have 10%, but she's got, let's say, 5 or 7% or whatever. Is there any way we can make something work? And then I'm actually talking to another human being instead of just using this automated. And a lot of times they'll make something work for us, and they'll make an exception, or they'll put a special financing option together for you so we can get you on the bike. So it's really cool because, you know, our relationship is, you know, the lenders, they don't get paid if we don't sell bikes, so typically they'll do a lot of they'll make a lot of exceptions for us. So, and then to answer your question about special financing for people, let's say that they've had a history and some dumb stuff happened in their past and their credit's not the greatest and they're trying to rebuild it. Harley actually has a credit assistance program, credit rebuild programs that are available to people, and it doesn't mean that everyone is going to get approved for that, but just to give you guys an example, I mean, we get people who are, let's say their scores are maybe in the 500s, where typically most lenders are kind of like,
automatic decline.
Yeah,
no.
let's, no thank you. We get people approved in that area all the time. You know, it requires you know, a couple hoops to jump through, like, you know, proof of income and proof of residency, and, you know, we need some references and, you know, all that stuff, but nothing too crazy out of the blue that's required to make something happen, you know,
So
for
don't
you.
let your credit score be the hindrance of not looking for a bike.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
look and go check it out.
I can't tell you how many times people come in here and they pre-qualify themselves just because, you know, they're used to dealing with your traditional banks where it's like, oh, well, if my credit score is less than a 625, they won't even consider it. And it's kind of, I mean, I've seen people, it's really weird. Just it's kind of a case-by-case basis, because I've seen people that are in like the 600s that maybe they're not willing to approve them for whatever reason, and I've seen people in the 500s get approved and not even have to, you know, get approved automatically. So
Sure.
it's just, you know, never pre-qualify yourself, you know.
Never give up hope.
Yeah.
You too
You
can
know.
have some win.
Yeah, so there's lots of programs available for everyone, and that's what we do. All of our salespeople are, you know, they all are really good at recommending, you know, that, you know, you don't want to make the decision, you know, before you even know. Like, let's at
Right.
least find out, and then
Yeah.
you know, I can tell you that, you know, we'll do whatever we can to make something happen for you. You know, even if it's initially they're saying no, we're not interested, but again, something they just have this set, you know, kind of probably a rubric that they use for their computer to automatically approve or decline someone. And we've had people that are automatically declined where, let's say that, you know, they have maybe a significant down payment or something. Maybe you can put 30, 40, 50% down, which, you know, if you're looking at a bike that's, you know, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 grand, you know, that you're still putting, you know, half down, and then the
Right.
bank a lot of times is willing to reconsider their initial decision because of that, you know, because you have more skin in the game, and
Sure.
the risk to them goes down. So, but it's just really nice to have the freedom to be able to call our own bank and get people approved. And then I don't know if I'm jumping a couple questions here,
No,
but
you go.
just
I think you're reading my mind. I think
Just
you're
a-
about to read my mind.
another, you know, just some more perks going with Harley.
He is. He's reading my mind.
They'll actually approve you 140%. Did I
Yeah,
do
you
it?
read my mind. I swear.
Um,
It's like we're friends or
so-
something. Jeez.
So other perks of using Harley's bank, they'll, you know, and stuff that a lot of people don't realize is they'll give you 140% loan to value approval. They don't do that for everyone, but if you're in a good spot, if you have a good score and everything is good, you could get approved up for 140%, which then gives you the power to finance other like maybe let's say that you need some riding gear, or maybe you're a taller guy like me, and there's no way that there's no possible way that I would ride a road glide like I got without putting some taller handlebars on it. I would not feel comfortable. So that
moving your mid controls forward
yeah,
on a, like
or
a Dyna.
seats or whatever, or you know, even with the VIP and the extended service plan. So they give you that extra cushion, whereas a lot of traditional lenders they'll only say, we'll only approve you 100%. We're not going to allow you to finance any extra, you know, parts or products or clothing or anything. You know, they just won't even consider that. So, and we get a lot of people where, you know, they have these other kind of prerequisites to them buying a bike where like it doesn't make sense for me to buy this bike if I can't do this, or if I can't have this
Right.
on it, or if I
Totally
can't have
makes
this.
sense. And you know, like gear can get expensive. Helmets
Yeah.
can get expensive. Seats,
And-
new seats
yeah.
can get
Especially
expensive.
if-
Those changes,
And-
even,
yeah.
especially when they're required to be able for you to ride the bike.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
if you like in a situation where you're riding two up with somebody and you want both of you to have gear to ride, if it's a newer
Or
rider,
headsets.
That can be an
headsets,
investment
yeah.
in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it just, you know, a lot of people are, you know, they'd rather be like, instead of coming out of pocket another $1,000, oh, just another, you know, $15 a month.
Right.
I know regardless that, you know, it's kind of right pocket, left pocket, but a lot of, you know, and
But I think for most people, a big chunk of money like
Yeah.
that is much harder
Yeah.
to swallow than having it kind of spread out
Yeah.
over a number of
And-
months, for
Absolutely.
sure.
And is there a prepayment penalty for this stuff if people
No.
decide?
No, there's not. So you actually, you know, we've had people all the time. You can either refinance with your own bank or pay it off before you even get, right after you get your first statement, and Harley doesn't penalize you for that at all, which is
And not
which is really
checking this
nice.
off.
Well, and not, I don't think a lot of institutions do that I'm aware of. Like I don't think I've ever entered into an agreement where I had a prepayment penalty. So, and I think that goes back to what you I think kind of alluded to when you were talking about you're in on a Saturday, and maybe your financial institution's not open. If you are dead set on financing with your credit union or your bank because you have a long-standing relationship or whatever, finance with them while you get there, and then just refinance through your other institution.
Especially
if that's
right
what it
now,
costs.
because bikes are hard to get right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
We're not trying to take business away from Harley or not, but there are options out there for you,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't really make a difference to us where the money comes from. It just, in terms of convenience, and people's time is important to them, and hey, you're here right now, so let's handle it right now. I've got this available to you, and then down the road you have options available to refinance it, or
Hey, one of the things, sorry, I may be stealing your thunder here when I say this, but one of the things that always comes up, I just experienced it, because I would say all of this information is good to know, like the basics here are good to know with regards to buying any kind of a vehicle or buying anything that you're financing, period, right?
If you're going to ask an insurance question.
I'm not.
Okay, because I thought you were reading my mind now.
Well,
Again, now that it's like I'm in the middle of this mind-reading session.
Maybe it'll morph into that a bit, but the one thing that always comes up, it came up when I just bought my new car. Do you want gap insurance?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm
that
like,
was the question. Why do I need gap insurance?
What's that for, and what do you need that for? So tell us about gap insurance. What's that?
Yeah, so gap is another, we call them entitlements or products or whatever you want to call them, that's available to kind of, that contributes to like an ownership experience, but
investment protection.
Yeah. So for gap, I think here it's anywhere from like $800 to $1,000. But what it does,
won't quote you.
Yeah. But what it does is, let's say that you buy a new bike, and let's say you pay, I'll just use easy numbers, let's say you pay $20,000 for it, or that's how much you're financing, and maybe we had to trade you out of something that you had a little like negative equity in potentially, or you didn't, you took advantage of a zero down option, so you don't have to put any money down, or maybe you finance, some parts or whatever, and let's say that you owe $20,000 on your motorcycle, and God forbid, but if you get in an accident
or get stolen
or whatever, and let's say,
yeah.
So say that bike, the actual price of that bike, let's say that was $17,000, but you owe $20 on it. So you go out and get in an accident, stolen, whatever, you have to file a claim on it. You're going to be told that bike is only worth $17,000. So
actual cash value.
Yep. Yep. So but you owe $20 on it. So if you don't have gap insurance,
so that gap, that
where,
17 to 20 is the gap.
That's where gap gets its name
that
from.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah. So gap insurance, they will cover that spread between what you are getting in terms of the actual cash value of your whatever you had and what you owe on it. So they'll cover that spread.
Awesome.
And the cool thing with Harley, is they'll actually give you $1,000 to put towards a brand new bike. So they'll cover the spread, and they'll give you $1,000 to put towards
so
a new.
I'm paying between $800 and $1,000 for the product, but if I actually use it, if I actually, God forbid, have to use it, I'm kind of getting my money back, because Harley's giving me back that money.
Yeah.
Well, they're giving you back the gap plus a little.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's it's a great product. It's I always say with Gap and pretty much with all of them, I mean, it's way better to have them and not ever have to use them than need them and not have them, because you could really put yourself in
You sound like that's a wise saying. My mother's saying about that. It's similar to my mother saying about clothing. You can always take it off, but you can put it on if you don't have it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Kind of leads us into theft protection, because I know that whenever you finance a bike or you have an additional interest in your bike, like a bank or lending institution, you have to have comp and collision on that bike, which comp is coverage for theft and with your deductible. But Harley also offers, and some other institution or other dealerships offer, theft coverage. Now, what is the benefit of having theft coverage on my bike?
Yep. So a lot of people ask, because it's kind of, so theft and gap kind of go hand in hand. So theft protection, what is it? So it actually is like a physical, it's like a physical product that we apply to your bike.
So there's like a little box you put on it?
Well, no, it's so it's like this, comes in this little container, and it's got like this kind of like gooey, like jello-y. They're like we call them like they're data dots. So what we do is, you have like this Q-tip looking
so
thing,
it's an
and
identification
and you swirl it around in there, and then typically we put it on the neck of the frame of your motorcycle. We run it all up and down the neck. Then that is that's a unique identifier for your specific motorcycle. So if it's ever stolen,
Fascinating.
I didn't know that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So it's like its own bike DNA.
Yeah. Essentially. Yep. And so
it's
so
like
if
an RFI.
Yeah. So if say your bike gets stolen and it's not able to be recovered in 30 days. If it is recovered, that's what those data dots are for, because obviously thieves will they'll hack bikes up, and and it's really hard to hide a frame, regardless of if they repaint it or scratch the VIN off
and they
or whatever.
can't tell if you have that on your bike, can they?
No, there's some sort of special lighting that the police officers have, that I believe there's car products for it too, but just to help with
So
that.
warning to all of you bike thieves out there, you getting hacked.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. Don't come after me.
So
Come on, bring it on.
Yeah. So the reason that I say that gap and theft kind of go hand in hand, because like Molly mentioned earlier, if your bike gets stolen and you have gap insurance, it'll cover the spread of what you owe on it. But your theft protection, they get 30 days to recover it. If it's not recovered, you'll actually get $5,000 to put towards a new bike if they're not able to recover your motorcycle and it has
So
theft
you get
protection on it.
gap, the additional piece, and theft protection.
And so you could
$6,000.
What?
So
Yeah,
so
the
you could
heck?
potentially have $6,000 to put towards a brand new bike, in the unfortunate situation that your bike gets stolen.
Now think
but
about that. So you'd have, your bike would all get paid off because
You had gap.
because you had insurance and you had gap. And then you got this extra money, and then you turn around and apply that $6,000 to a new bike, which means now the payment on your new bike, depending on
What you choose.
the base,
You could
bike,
potentially be in
you
a
could
better
pay-
financial situation
yeah.
than you were before.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't need gap on your new bike because you had such a decent amount to put down,
Yeah.
So
I would probably still get it because
Yeah.
I want that $1,000
yeah.
pillow.
That's very
Yeah,
cool.
it's just a lot of those are a lot of we call them entitlements or products that are available to people that they really don't even know it's available to them.
Yeah.
So
So we talked a little bit about, we're throwing around this idea of, what about trade-ins? Like we probably should have covered this in our last episode as well. But how do trade-ins come into play, or how do they play in the whole
Like if I have
financing
products on my now bike and I'm trading it like you did for your new bike, can you
Yeah.
transfer those over?
Yeah, so with Gap and your extended service plan or your extended warranty, whatever you want to call it, those
Service plan. Warranties are free.
those are cancelable products, meaning that, say for whatever reason, let's say I have a 5-year ESP on my bike and something happens and I have to get rid of it, like 2 or 3 years down the road, I can cancel and get like a prorated refund back.
Okay.
So they're cancelable, and same with gap insurance. But if you trade something in, it's really cool that we can, it gets kind of a little complicated, but essentially me as being a sales manager or one of our business managers here, we're actually able to cancel those contracts, and we can use that.
Credit.
We can show it as cash down towards your new bike. So,
That's cool.
or we can. There's a bunch of different ways we can transfer it to your new
So
bike.
you just don't, once you pay it, you don't lose it, is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
there's other ways to recover it if
Yeah.
you're going to make some changes to
Yep.
your riding journey.
And same with your VIP, where it's not quite as like simple as like just canceling it and having like money down, but we do have I know our business managers here make it really easy, where if you haven't used the full value out of your current VIP but you trade into a new bike, we will they've got some different ways of like prorating that or transferring it over to your new bike. So because we want everyone to be able to have what they want. So and I mean trade-ins are, we have way more deals that happen. We actually would prefer you have a trade right now because of the current inventory situation going on
everywhere.
I just saw a text message come out saying we're looking for used bikes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Can I get the new one in red?
Yeah. But yeah, so we actually are we're really looking for trades right now, and I can speak for any brand saying that the last year kind of took a pretty big hit on the supply chain of a lot of different manufacturers. So new inventory was down everywhere last year. So the used market kind of went through the roof, and dealerships were paying their bills selling pre-owned products, which are awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we actually are willing to give, we actually are willing to do a little bit more for someone that has a trade-in versus someone that's just taken one and we're not replacing that unit.
Sure.
Especially right now. And just kind of a fun fact for you, last year was the first year ever where your bike was actually worth more at the end of last year than it was at the beginning. So because at the beginning of last year, it was everything was normal, and then we all know March hit and all kinds of crazy stuff started happening, and supply chains start getting shut down. We start running out of new inventory, so naturally the value of what's available, which is pre-owned bikes, goes up. So it's kind of cool to know that your bike actually appreciated last year instead of depreciated.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt that's going to continue this year, but it was really weird. It was kind of crazy for us seeing like, oh my gosh, the values, because we get different books every quarter for the value, previous year models and what they're worth and their trade values and everything, and we were like, oh my god, this is actually, it's worth more now than it was last quarter. That's never happened before.
Right.
So
what can I do if not that I'm going to trade in Pocahontas, even though I know you guys are really pressuring me to, because I got bit by that stupid snake viper road glide.
I think N+1, don't trade it, just add another one.
Well, there is that. But remember, I am a woman and I handle my finances, so
she knows what she can do and not do.
But let's say I lost my mind and I was gonna bring Pocahontas in and trade her in for that road glide. What could I do to my bike before I brought it in, or how could I present? What would I need to do to present it to you to get the most out of my trade?
Yeah. It's. I mean, I don't
not
necessarily.
That she's not perfect as she is.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily anything. There's not like a rubric that I could give someone to what they can buy. I mean, obviously the mileage is a big one, and what we really the only thing that like a bike could, have done to it, if we put new tires on pretty much every bike that gets traded in here, because if you spend the money, you kind of expect to not have to buy tires anytime soon.
Right.
But if you have a bike that maybe you just got it serviced, or you just got new tires for it, or and the mileage and just the overall kind of curb appeal, like presentation.
Make sure it's clean and
yeah.
I was gonna say, it seems like some basic stuff that people should pay attention
to.
Like, you don't want to bring it in with a fairing full of
Just take
books.
care of it. Yeah.
Clean it up.
And if you can, it means, if you come to me and say I've gotten all my service work done here,
Here's
then
my proof.
Yeah, then that gives us kind of a peace of mind that we're not going to get an unexpected huge shop bill, because
and you still may, but the chances are a lot slimmer if somebody has taken care of their bike all along.
Yeah, because we really pride ourselves here on our pre-owned bikes are on the floor with the expectation for our consumers that they're just ready to ride off the showroom floor and not have to worry about anything. So we spend a lot of money every year.
Done it a couple of times.
Yeah. Yeah. So we spend a lot of money on our pre-owned bikes and just getting them ready and safe, and just because we would never want to kind of ruin someone's first motorcycle or their experience with our dealership by going cheap and not fixing everything that needs to happen on
and
them.
I can say, I'll speak from experience. You guys have and do work at St. Paul Harley-Davidson. I don't, and I will say, it's always been about the relationship. Every time I've walked in, every time I've purchased a bike, and I've only ever purchased through here, it was always really important to Harley and to me that there was a relationship here. So I feel like sometimes Harley, at least for I'm speaking about St. Paul Harley-Davidson, but I feel like it's kind of my cheers. For those of you who know what Cheers is, the show Cheers. Like, I walk in and people know my name. They take the time to get to know your name and know your situation and know your needs and
we're
your
family.
desires. Yeah.
I think in this lifestyle, whenever you take up this passion, it becomes family.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally
I
does.
have made
I don't
some
always like my
amazing-
family either.
I don't
might
either.
add.
I mean, but for the most part, I mean, we
But
all
I
care about
tolerate 'em.
each other, and we all, we all share this commonality
Yeah.
between us. So,
Yeah.
And that's
sure.
that's obviously we use that as selling points for Harley too, and just the community aspect, but it's for all two wheels really.
It
I
is.
mean, it's
for
just,
sure.
I know Monica, I'm sure you've all heard her funny story about her first time giving someone the two fingers down, but
Wait.
but that's real, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just you're on two wheels, you automatically we've got a connection, and I know that we could probably sit at the bar and have a drink together and have a great time, if you're on just the fact of you having a motorcycle,
Yeah,
means that we
it's
probably,
an automatic connection that you have
Yeah.
when you're on 2 or 3, to be very honest.
Yeah.
If you're on a motorcycle at all.
If you're in the wind at all.
Yeah,
Right.
in the wind at all, yeah.
Mhm.
Except for slingshots. Okay.
I did have someone in a slingshot. I did have someone in a slingshot give me the two fingers down, and I was just kind of like, three or
three,
I don't.
four?
Okay,
I don't-
why is that not considered?
So-
I mean, is it because there's like,
It
do
has
they
a
have a
steering wheel.
Oh.
You don't need a motorcycle license to drive one,
Oh.
but you do need a motorcycle license to operate like a trike or a spider. Those are classified as motorcycles.
That's
so-
a dune buggy.
Yeah.
It's a street legal dude, buddy.
Yeah.
But
They're
if
cool.
that is your passion,
But if that's where you-
absolutely have fun.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's where
little-
you are on your
Yeah.
journey. You
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Luke, I can't tell
Daisy.
you-
I'm just daisying all over all of you. I love you all.
You're all right.
Squirrel.
So we have.
I told you we
we've
do that.
taken up 45 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
But this
Oh.
has been super helpful.
Informative. Very informative.
I hope that
Hasn't
the.
felt like it. We can keep going if you got any other
Well, we
questions.
may invite
about
you back if
anything.
you have
Yeah.
more information.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you though one more question. If
No,
I'm kind
no,
of
I'm kidding.
you stop that. We're gonna box after this. If someone's coming in looking at a bike, what are some things that they should bring with them
Oh, that's
that
good.
might help their new adventure go a little bit more smoothly? Like, what is some paperwork? For sure, insurance. I think a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so I know we touched a little bit on like someone that's in a credit situation where maybe they've had some setbacks and their credit's not in the best spot, but Harley also has available programs for like first time buyers. So I actually when I bought my first bike like 3 years ago, and it was like my first my first physical actual loan that I was on by myself. They hooked me up with what they call a first time buyer program, where a typical lender would probably be like, nope, you need to establish yourself and have an established history of credit and all that stuff. And yeah, so but I believe I just needed my most recent pay stub just to prove that my income is what I told the bank it was. And then yeah, I was financed, and I ended up trading that bike in less than a year later for a bike that was worth about double, and my payment was about the exact same because it had helped build my credit that fast. So my interest rate on my next bike that costed more was so much less than what, because obviously first time buyer, you're a little higher risk, so the bank is gonna hit you with a higher interest rate than than if you were established, obviously. But it's really cool. We always tell people how cool is it to build your credit while riding a Harley instead of having a stupid credit card or something like that. It's
or
like
any motorcycle.
I get
Sure.
I get to ride this motorcycle and build my credit, and that
have fun
kind
doing
of
it.
Yeah.
exactly.
And meet crazy
So-
people like us.
Yeah. So yeah, they've got so I would say it's always nice to have your most recent pay stub handy. Sometimes they ask for proof of residence to prove that you actually live where
Which
you
is what,
where
like
you
your
tell
electricity bill
them.
or something.
Yeah,
that
so
says
just a
it is
utility
what it is.
bill, and a utility bill, you only need one if you can provide a utility bill. But if you, let's say if you're like maybe you're a first time buyer and you're younger and you live at home or whatever, you don't have any of the utilities in your name, you can provide like a bank statement or like pretty much anything with your name. It just has to be within 30 days to prove your residency. And then they'll ask for references. They'll ask for 4 references, which people a lot. It's kind of funny. People will ask, well, what do you need 4 references for? It's just family or friends and their names and numbers. And I always just kind of mess with people and tell them that, well, if you stop making your payment, these are who they're going to call to try to get a hold of you.
Yeah,
so,
where are you riding that bike at?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really easy. I mean, I would say that with Harley's financing, people a lot of times compliment us on how quick the whole process can happen. With how fast, so let's say someone with good credit comes in here, you literally could walk in the front door and from hello, let's say you walk in and what bike you want, it doesn't take, there's not a lot of, sitting on a bunch of bikes trying to fit you to the right bike. Let's say you saw it online, you're like, I know this is the bike I want, let's do it. And you could be in and out of here riding down the road on your new bike in like 30-45 minutes. I mean,
wow, that's crazy.
It is. And that's one of the,
all that fun in 35 minutes.
Well, and Harley also offers an insurance policy too.
Yeah.
So if you don't have access to your insurance whenever you're coming in to buy, you can place it through Harley and then cancel rewrite with your carrier if that's what you want to do.
They give you you get a free insurance quote for every time, if we send your information over to the bank and, they provide it for free and then.
Because you can't leave without it.
Yeah. The state of Minnesota is really picky. You have to provide proof of insurance to get a title for your bike, and then also just for the dealership liability standpoint, you have to provide that this bike you just bought is insured, that VIN number in your name and this insurance company and this policy number,
and check with your insurance companies too, that if you have one already, if you're existing, right? Because I think you're covered for a period of time, even if you don't call into your insurance company.
Depends on the carrier.
Yeah. But check with your carrier and ask. I didn't like mine. I had 30 days to switch it over, and I was still covered. But it was literally a call in saying it's not the Spike anymore, it's the other one. It's the new one, and it was done. So it's that easy.
Yep. Yeah. So
awesome.
Good first-time buyer programs and credit building, and there's just all kinds of different options available to people. And I would say on a daily basis, people are like, "Well, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that was a thing."
Well, that's what I was just sitting here thinking. Like, I didn't realize that there were all those things available.
So we covered the difference between a warranty and an extended service plan. We covered VIP. We covered GAP, theft protection. We talked about how you can insure your bike with Harley or your own carrier.
We talked about all the different ways that you can be financed, right?
Yeah.
There's a million of them, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Put money down, don't put money down. First time buyer program,
Credit
not so
rebuilding.
much.
Yeah.
Credit rebuilding, co-signers, through Harley, through any other organization. Or
So, now that you have all this information in your pocket, what are you
know.
waiting for?
Yeah. Go get yourself a motorcycle.
Yeah, and
or
if you're a
upgrade the
lady,
one you have.
Then you can ride with us on International Female Ride Day.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what you ride, just
Be
ride.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the same wind.
So, is there anything else you want to add to this?
No, if we want to talk about, obviously I could talk about all kinds of different stuff, but we're just talking about financing and all the products, the protection products available. I think we touched on about anything that we could possibly talk about on that. So
Luke is a wealth of knowledge if you're ever in St. Paul Harley. He's very passionate about motorcycles. He knows a lot about them. His family bleeds orange and black, so and he's a chatter. He likes to talk a lot. I'm just playing.
coming from
Coming from the two of us.
So anyway.
So you're welcome to stay here while we wrap things up and let them know about our upcoming rides.
Upcoming rides, and our next episode is going to be on maintenance, basic maintenance things. We're going to go downstairs and to the shop, and we're going to talk to a couple of the different mechanics, and they're going to show us some things on some different bikes, like how to know how to get to your battery, what's pigtail for, how to check your oil, should you stand your bike up, should you set it down, how to check your tire pressure, what tools should you have on your bike at all times, just things like that. So that
was a really big topic when we did the whole tips and tricks thing. Everybody wanted to know what, how do I do this? How do I do it? How do I, maybe we can even have them touch on how to stand a bike up too. Maybe we can get to that too.
It is. And in an upcoming episode, we're also going to talk about group riding. I was having a brainstorm before this episode because there's a lot of group rides coming up that we're getting ready to be a part of and that we've planned.
Do tell.
And
do tell. What group rides?
Let me grab my phone because I'm pretty sure that they're on
I
there.
have to tell you something really funny that happened yesterday. So
do that because I'm.
So yesterday it was Saturday here, and Saturdays are really busy days. And a gentleman that is here a lot walks up to where we're stationed at, me and the other sales manager, and he's like, "Hey, so I noticed all these rides that are starting to get out there, but I noticed they're all women's rides." He's like, "Who's gonna start planning some men's rides?" And we looked at him and we're like, "Are you volunteering to do that?" And it's like, 'cause we got two really dedicated women that are just freaking putting it together this year.
That's so funny. That's awesome.
And you guys are welcome to join us on our ladies' rides. You just have to be in the back.
Yeah.
Kickstands go in the back. So
that was just really funny. It's like, are you guys are you like not doing any men's rides this year? It's like, no, you guys are just on top of it and getting everything sorted out. So
yeah, we
just along those same lines.
We're women, we plan.
It's so funny. You guys met Eric in one of our Valentine's Day episode, and he still to this day he rode with us on the very first International Female Ride Day in the back with a couple other men that wanted to go. And to this day, he still goes to his buddies that ride, and he'll say, "You guys have no idea how to ride in formation until you've ridden with these women." Because he said, I could slide into the center and look right down the middle because all of them stay in their lane. There's no messing around.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty funny. And they all just think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun too. And of course, like I said before, and I'll say it again, gentlemen are more than welcome to join us. You just have to ride at the back. And
yeah, we're just trying to celebrate women, so it's really not about women or men at that point. We're just trying to keep the women up front, have them feel empowered. It really is us trying to help celebrate the idea of women. So
and infect other women, infect other women with this passion because we need to grow this. Yeah. We need it to become such a big deal that it's. I'll always celebrate it, but we need it to become such a big deal that we look at each other and go, "What's the big deal? We all ride."
Exactly.
What's the big deal?
I think it's awesome you guys are doing all that for women, and then last year, I think women and younger riders are kind of two niche groups that are really, I'm always, I'm a younger person and I have no plans of doing anything else in terms of working for the rest of my life. So I'm thinking what's it going to look like 10, 20, 30 years down the road? And I've got the same thing you guys are doing for women. I'm trying to put groups of people together that are younger, and it's not saying no, you guys can't come with us, but kind of exactly the way you guys are. You're providing a community and a circle for women to connect with other women and
talk about women's stuff. I think that's really what our passion was, right? And and our topics could be the same, but could be different than what a younger generation is looking at too.
So I kind of just, younger people have the same thing when they come here and they're like, well, you know any young people that ride? And just because they're just looking for people kind of around the same age and interests and all that stuff, and just providing a area or a community or a group for those people is just gonna compound on top of each other, and 10, 20, 30 years down the road, it's going to be pretty cool how big they are. So
right, and we're all riding together.
Yeah.
So some of the rides we have planned coming up, if you're in the Twin Cities area, we'd love for you to join us. This coming April 3rd, we're going to be going to Rochester to Newt's downtown. We're going to leave from St. Paul Harley at, I think the invitation said 9:30. For some reason it's not on this list. Oh yeah, it's right here. Just kidding. Kickstand's up at 9, so we'll do a pre-ride meeting. So kickstand's up there actually at 9:15. So we're going to pre-ride at 9, and then we're going to take off at 9:15. And then on Thursday, the 15th of April, we're going to do a dinner ride from, again, St. Paul Harley. All these start at Harley because it's easiest for us. We're going to ride over to Stillwater to Lumberjacks. They're going to host us over there for some. What's better than motorcycles and axe throwing? Come on.
I've been there before. That's fun.
It's a lot
Super
of fun.
And for the record, women-owned business, so we're all about women supporting women.
Yep. Kickstand's up at 6, so we're going to meet at 5:45 for a little pre-ride. and head out there. And then
Well, and I think a reminder, if you don't meet us here, meet us there.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
fine.
You can
If
meet
you
us
come
there.
from a different different area and you don't want to come all the way into
Mhm.
Harley-Davidson, fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
But meet us there for the camaraderie and the
maybe you'll meet somebody you can ride with.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Oh, that's happened a number of times
Yeah.
already. So.
And then May 1st is International Female Ride Day. We're
Whoop, whoop.
super excited about this ride. We've got, what'd you say, about 200 miles that we're going to do that day?
Yeah, 180-ish, depending
Yeah.
on which way we go.
Yeah,
But-
we're going to meet up with another group of women that are going to be out riding that day. Again, just our dream eventually is to take all of these International Female Ride Days in our area and bring them all to one location. So we
Right.
all ride in from everywhere and we just meet together. So it's more about bringing us together instead of who's riding with each group.
I've
because-
got 25 people. We've got
Yeah.
50 people.
Who cares?
Together we have 75 people.
Yeah, we have this massive group of people, of women in Minnesota that are riding, and we're all coming together and we're all celebrating and we're all going. And, you know, we all have met each
Yep.
other and we're celebrating. So those are some of the rides.
And this message is going out to people outside of Minnesota too. So if
Mhm.
we've mentioned this before, but if you're not aware of women's riding groups in your area,
Mhm.
get on Facebook, search for motorcycles, women, and the name of the state that you ride in.
Mhm.
There's groups out there to be joined.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Definitely.
definitely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up for today. We're so glad you joined us. And thank you again, Luke, so much
Yeah.
for all the valuable
Awesome.
I
information.
can't even believe it's been an hour. That felt like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know.
It's fun.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Women, motorcycles, and fun.
Yep.
And Luke. So,
All right.
that'll do it.
That's it.
Till next time, keep it shiny.
See you guys.
See ya.
Smith and Waker out.